Hello, friends. This is Steve, and I'm making this video to publish after midnight so that Deborah can get excited when she wakes up in the morning and discovers there's a video there for her to watch in the morning if she wants to. So this one's for you. And yeah, I just wrote a piece, a post, a day or two ago, just about how I was going to have to take a break from the videos for a little bit, just because the energetics were difficult to work with and had kind of just the whole process of grounding the healing, the disturbance of the world, and making videos, helping people work with the disturbance of the world, and having a lot of people that I'm not the people I live with, but people that I have cared for over the years, having a lot of difficulties. And I was somewhat overwhelmed by the amount of needs of people I care about, and an inability for many things to meet those needs. Like, for one person asking me if I would fly across the country and then drive him from Michigan to California. It's a fairly long flight. It's a fairly long drive. So the flight, if it's direct, is 4 to 5 hours. The drive is 4 to 5 days. I mean, unless you're just like a young person and can caffeinate and drive through the night, it's 32 hours. So that's 4 days driving 8 hours a day, right? 8 fours are 32. So it's 4 8-hour days of driving, or 2 16-hour days of driving, whatever. It's a lot of driving. Anyway, I'd already gone out, I think in November, with the express purpose of getting him packed up and getting him ready to take him to live with his brother, who is a nutritionist and can help him get his mind back. So he's literally losing his mind. He's losing his memory. He's having a difficult time processing information. And he needs some help. And his brother's a nutritionist, and his brother lives in California, and his brother knows people that can detox the body of heavy metals, which could be what's causing the mind to go numb. But anyway, this is the kind of thing. So I already flew out there, and then when I was out there, he had some pressure from his son not to go, and he decided not to go, which was a relief on some levels for me, because that meant I didn't have to drive 4 to 5 days across the country to get him in his older vehicle, to get him to his brother's house in Southern California, where it's nice and warm this time of year, and he can walk during the day and take his dog for walks and throw his frisbee in the park down the street. It's a great place. I've been there a number of times, and I would go visit him there before I'd go visit him in Ann Arbor, Michigan in the winter. There's just some levels of commitment that just kind of challenge your commitment or your need to be committed. Those are the kind of stretches I've been feeling, plus the demands to change. the rising vibration of change, the 28-year cycle of cleansing on the earth that completes on March 24th of 2025. So in 40 some days, maybe 46, 45, 46, 47. So 18 plus 24 is 42, right? 18 more days of February and 24 days of March. So 24 plus 8 is 32, plus 10 is 42 days till the completion of this major 28-year cleansing cycle. And I'm looking forward to it. So I, made a couple videos earlier today, and the thing that I recognized that I was not the same person that I was when I woke up this morning. I was called for a healing session last night, so on my time it was 7 o'clock, and it was the East Coast person, so it was 10 o'clock for them, and we did this healing session that was just a major download of high vibrational energies, a lot of white and golden light pouring into the body, which may sound good, but it kind of pushes stuff out. When this clear light's coming through, it kind of just pushes out the darkness, and then you gotta release and integrate the darkness for the rest of the night, which is what I did. And again, woke up this morning just feeling hopeless. And so I did these processes. The first process I did was I do a combination now of breathing and yawning. Both of them tend to release the nerve system from a state of fight or flight, whether that be active fight or flight or passive fight or flight where we're actually frozen, or whether we're agitated and our mind's racing and our emotions are going and we're trying to find a solution. There's a variety of ways in which these fight or flight energies from traumas manifest. So I woke up, I think the cat woke me up about 3 o'clock, and so she has a nice little spot in the laundry room, so when she isn't sleeping with me in the bedroom, or she's not settling and she needs a place to settle, that's where I take her, is into the laundry room. It's very nice and warm in there. Cats like it warm, so they like it in there. I took her in there about 3 o'clock, 3:30. And then I attempted to go back to sleep, and it wasn't happening. I was processing data. I finally got up, I think around 6:30. It's a lot of data processed. And I felt shaky. I felt like, I was ungrounded. I was not centered. My nerve system was deregulated from all the processing of energy. I was not balanced, and my thinking was not good. So I did the breathing, yawning. So that involves breathing in to maybe a count of 4, breathing out to a count of 8. The slower you breathe out, the more the signal goes to your brain and your nerve system that everything's okay. So that's how it works. So you breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. You breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when you double the breath out to the breath in, it sends a signal to the brain that everything's okay and it can come out of fight or flight. And sometimes, like Sometimes it's so intense after a night of grounding, the disturbance of the world, which is all the fear, grief, and anger that's being released from human beings into the world field. And then there are hundreds of us around the world who volunteer. It might be a group that gets paid for it. I'd like to be part of that group and charge by the hour because it's 24 hours a day. But there's hundreds of us that I know of, and there's probably more, that are just grounding that disturbance. Just helping to release and integrate that disturbance. And then I set up fields multiple times a week where you can connect to a healing field. The healing field is one that your soul needs to work with on a personal level. If you come into contact with it and your soul goes back to it, it's going back to it because your soul needs to release and integrate the energy of that event, whatever it is. You don't need to look at it. If your soul goes back to it, you might feel some of the energies, but just keep releasing them, stay really grounded, stay really centered. Then there's yawning. So yawning is the fastest way to release fear, to release fight or flight, and freeze. So those are the three: fight, flight, freeze. And freeze is more of a numbing because fight or flight's too intense, so you finally numb it down and just hold it and make it less noticeable. When you're in active fight or flight, it's noticeable. Ooh. So with yawning, you just concentrate on yawning. When you really focus on yawning, you can just keep yawning. If you don't stop it, it'll keep going. And the deeper it goes, the deeper the release is. And you'll feel it start to release your atlas vertebra that's jammed up against your jaw. And keep doing that. If you can keep it going for 10 to 20 minutes, and literally, if you're having a panic attack at night, which I was over that up until a couple months ago, when all of a sudden it started back up again after being off for 14 years. The panic of the world got to be too much, and I began to get triggered. But if you can just do that yawning for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, up to 30 minutes, you'll feel like you've been on vacation for weeks. It's just a state. So 4 seconds in breathing, 8 seconds out breathing. Just the longer the breath out, the more relaxed the nerve system is told to become through breath, through the interaction of your breath and the calmness of your nerve system. Another way is to ground yourself or to connect with the deep self, which is inside your central channel, and your deep self is peace. So when you connect with your deep self, you're connecting with peace. Connecting with your higher self, connecting with your highest self. These are both kind of expansive experiences because your higher self is not as contracted. So when you connect your higher self, you're connecting with something larger. When you connect with your highest self, you're connecting with something even larger. They're not separate, but your consciousness separates them. So when you say, I connect to my higher self, that gives you a container for your higher self. You connect your higher self, it gives you a container for your higher self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. If you actually do it where you intend it and you say it and you follow your energy down to the center of the earth, where it's just peaceful, calm, and loving, you'll feel that and you'll connect to it in your nerve system. And it'll take you into a deeper state. In the last 2 sessions I've done with people, one of them fought going to sleep the whole session because the deeper she went into relaxation, the more out of fight or flight she came, the more her body went into a relaxation out of fight or flight. And when you actually are out of fight or flight, you recognize how tired your body is, because when you're in fight or flight, you're producing chemicals that make you feel like you've been drinking coffee or whatever. And if you're in fight or flight frequently, there are chemicals that cause the body to feel pain. It might be cortisols that the adrenal glands produce. And so when a person's been in fight or flight and not freeze, freeze the same, fight or flight, freeze, they're all kind of the same. You don't notice the intensity of the freeze like you do the fight or flight, but they're still stressing out your adrenal glands, producing cortisol, which causes the body pain. So you come out of fight or flight, you will come out of pain. It may take a day or so for your body to get rid of the cortisol, but you'll come out of pain. And I mean, you may experience pain when something happens, but you won't be living in that pain if you stop living in fight or flight. And you got to practice. It's not like if you're on the computer, if you're going to YouTube, there's that sidebar that just kind of AI knows you and goes, oh, they'd want to know that the economy's collapsing. Oh, they'd want to know what, they're spraying in the clouds. Oh, they'd want to know. And you're like, oh, yeah, I knew that was happening. I knew that was happening. I knew that was happening. I should be really afraid and get really sick because of what I'm thinking, There's, I think, a book called Think and Grow Rich, but there's other books that could just be called Think and Get Sick. Ask your doctor if this would be good for you. I'm just going to look at the time. 17 minutes. It flew by. Another exercise you can do is take your consciousness out 3 feet. Notice the feeling of spaciousness. It'll make everything feel better. Go out 6 feet. Do this over time, but then go out 12 feet, go out 24 feet, go out 48 feet, and then go out beyond 48 feet, and you'll be in the energy field of 5th dimensional consciousness. It's lovely. You'll love it. And you might ask, well, why don't you just stay out there, Steve? And a lot of people said, yeah, why don't you move there? But 5D consciousness, I've not found it easy to maintain because I still have stuff to let go of it. So if you want to be in your hot air balloon and rise up to a higher consciousness, you need to dump the bags of sand off the side for it to go up. It's just the way it is. There's a healing field for you to connect with if you want to. Just state, I connect with the healing field. And then I'll ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good, release and integrate at this time. I invite all souls to return to the event, release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves, and I ask us that we all be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. And upon arrival at the event, I ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event, gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. Okay, that's enough for the early morning video for Deborah. And may you all learn. And last thing, there's going to be through Thomas Hubble, I think, Hubl, through his Mystic Cafe. So if you go to YouTube, I think, and you type in Thomas Hubel Mystic Cafe, it should get you to a link for his 7-day neural reset program that he's going to do. I think it's $37. You join the Mystic Cafe for a month, and as part of that month, you get an hour and a half download from Thomas Hubel that's going to be about 7 days to reset your neurological system, to bring you out of fight or flight and bring you into a calmer state and a more present state. So $37 is seems like a good deal to me, so I'm going to do it, and that's on the 16th. And there's a really good video about it, which I think is called, renew your nerve system or something. It's somewhere, but let me see if I can find it, so I can give you the actual name of it. So it is called Your Path to Renewal, and then and that's on YouTube under Thomas Hubl. Your Path to Renewal. It's a free event. It was excellent. I've actually gone through it, I think, 3 times, and I might do it again because I learn more every time I do it, and he's a really amazing teacher. But anyway, 7 days to renew your neural function, get a new life, and we'll see. Whether it happens or not, we'll all feel better, and we'll be doing it together, and it's probably well worth it if you have the $37, or just kind of hang out with people who are neurally regulated. They're usually not freaking out all the time. But even those who study neural regulation do seem to be freaking out part of the time. And I do sometimes make videos while I'm freaking out and then have my guide Arlen talk me through it. I've done that twice over the past few days, had Arlen take me through a process to help me through the intensity of what I was working with. And the Hathors can do that for you if you just state out loud, I choose to work with the Hathors. They'll help you process that information. Okay, that's everything. And now 23 minutes. It'll take a while to upload this, but I'm uploading it for tomorrow. So I will see you then, possibly. Be well.